Hi there, everyone. This is my first video, so bear with me if it gets a little funny or just embarrassing. Um, I'm still practicing, but I have crossed the threshold where all of my um cares have gone out the window, so now I am able to do this. And if you've ever tried posting online, you'll know the struggle. It's really hard um, putting yourself out there, and especially if it's in a vulnerable way. There's like that influencer way where you post the really cute pictures and um, do all the really awesome things. But then there's this way where you're kind of bearing your heart and soul, and that's really scary. So it's taken me a while, even though I've known I wanted to do this for a really long time. It took me a while to get here and be able to say, hello, this is me. But hello, this is me. And I'm really, 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 really excited to post this. I've gotten to the point where it's like, I I'm gonna post this because it's what I do. Because this is it. This is what I do. I talk and I form these ideas that are life changing and wonderful and awesome and incredible, and I put them out there, and it helps maybe one or two or 10 or 20 people. And I really have no goals or expectations other than goals for me, and it's to create a channel that I can put input into, and it channels through and creates an output. Because right now I don't have a channel. I It's just input, 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 and nowhere to like dump out my thoughts or ideas. And I've been journaling a lot, but it's just I feel like it needs to go out there. There's a lot of difference and contrast when we're dealing with other human beings. And I just think that I've honestly found what I want, and no contrast on the outside can take that knowledge away from me, which is cool. And yeah, my name is Shahed. I think I've said that, but I was born in Syria, and I lived in the UAE until I was around 11 years old. Then my family won the lottery for the green card. It was completely random and out of nowhere. And I moved here when I was in fifth grade to Dallas, Texas. And I've been here for the past 9 years. And I feel like I've found out a lot about this earth and about human experience and consciousness. And I don't know, that's just been my thing. I've been doing some digging for the past couple years. Some would say spiritual journey. Um, and I love it. I fucking love it. And I can't believe it's not talked about more in like groups of people my age. I'm 19 years old. I'm currently in college in business, and I there's a lot I want to do in the world. And I think I'm just getting my college degree for the same reason everyone's getting their college degree. But if I were to do what I've always dreamed of doing, it would be this. So I'm taking steps toward that. Um, the rest of my videos aren't going to be this boring, by the way. This is just the introduction. Um, but I really like talking about things like death and God and love and yeah, big concepts like discipline and honor and what it means to, you know, be good, things like that, you know. And I have a lot of like um people that I listen to on YouTube and like influencers, but not really influencers, like mostly authors that I like follow online that I love, 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 love. And their lives kind of like speak to me, kind of. And yeah, I also want to run a marathon and climb as many mountains as I can, swim in as many waterfalls as I can, visit all the countries and do all the things. Like I really like my goal is to do it all. My goal is to find my favorite food out of every cuisine and just like go to as many landmarks and it really I don't think it's asking for much because I feel like I can do it. And if I feel like I can do it, then it's not much, right? That's how I see it. Anyways, um, yeah, so growing up in Dubai and having been from, I'm fully Syrian, both their parents are, and their parents too. But we moved. I've lived in Dubai my whole life, or lived in Al Ain, then Abu Dhabi for a little bit. Um, and then, you know, just out of nowhere, we moved to the US. And I had only heard of the US from, you know, movies and like Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. So it was just this really, really foreign idea. And Syrians aren't really allowed to travel in the US. So we didn't, we don't have any family here, not any immediate family. And it was the biggest culture shock, I'd say. I had known English, but my accent was not not American, so I got bullied into it real quick. Since I was pretty young, so I don't sound like I grew up somewhere else. I sound like I've been here for a while, so I get that a lot. But um yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on American culture. Pretty heavy thoughts, pretty intense thoughts that I think aren't talked about nearly enough. The way that you guys live over here, there's a bubble surrounding every single one of y'all's existence, a bubble that you don't know exists. And you act as though it doesn't exist, but it does exist. And I want to talk about that more in detail. Um, but yeah, I feel like part, a big reason that I am the way I am with the way I talk and um I don't know, like my willingness to put my face out there. And I'm always someone who raises their hand in class. I'm always someone to when I was a kid I would always volunteer whenever the magician asked for someone to come up on stage. I That was just always me. I don't know why. Um so the fact that I'm doing this is kind of really on um on on character, is very on character, on theme. Yeah, I think so. um I'm just going to be dumping little nuggets of my, like, what I think is important for you to know for future videos, because then, like, if you see a future video and you're like, I want to know more about this chick, you're going to click on my introduction. That's my, yeah. But if you're watching this first, you're going to be like, why is she saying this? And yeah, comment down below if you want a video, a very specific video for, like, any of the ideas I'm talking about. But um a big reason that I am the way I am, back to what I was saying, is because I would go to Syria every year, living in Dubai. Every summer, I would spend at least 2 months in Syria growing up. So from ages 0 to 11, um, it was 3 seasons Dubai, and then spent summer with my grandparents and family and aunts and uncles and stuff. So if you don't know, Syria has been very, very unstable climate politically for the past 15 years or so. And, or the past 20 years, it's been my whole life. Um, Going from absolute filthy luxury to seeing children on the streets trying to sell chocolate to feed their family, um and seeing people with disabilities starving with no one to take care of them, living in abandoned homes because the whole world turned their back on them, and then going somewhere like Dubai where there's every need and want in excess at all times. Um, I think it gave me like a really unique perspective on the world. And I was always a kid that questioned. So I think it's a really big question for a kid to ask themselves, why didn't I end up with them? Why didn't I end up starving? Why didn't I end up sick? Why did I get this life? People here don't ask that. People here look on TV and ask, why didn't I get her life? People here don't look at the world like that. Um, they look at what they don't have. They always look at what they don't have. And I think that greed, greed runs under the fucking choice of every single American. And I mean that. Unless you've done real work to change the systems that raised you, then you have that greed like festering within you. And it comes not from you. It was a program. It was a program that they downloaded through trauma, through conditioning, through schooling. There is a matrix, okay? And most people are living within it. And that's why we don't have any of our power. That's why we can't just snap our fingers and be where we want to be. It's because we've given away so much of our power. But whenever we start, whenever we learn that you just have to say, I want it back, and act as if you have it back, then you have it, you know? Um, they only have as much control over you as you let them. And I don't want to let them have any fucking control over me. Not anymore. they have my whole life. And you're gonna be like, Shed, who's they? That's like a whole new separate video. But if you know anything about anything, you know who's they. Like people who are creating money, who are printing the money, who are causing the wars, who are saying this is the history books you're going to learn in school. Right now, what is controlling your perception is filthy, filthy fucking systems. Um, and your parents and their parents and their parents and their parents and their parents, they have all fell victim to these, and sometimes you are stuck in this place where you feel like all the walls are closing in on you. But I want you to know that there's light, and there is light anywhere that you are, because you are that light. um you are the love, you are the truth. Your body is what generates truth. Anything that you don't want to be true, anything that you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, there's a way to not do that anymore. um I'm going to go more into detail on that later, but um more about me. Yeah, America is one of the luckiest places to be, because you can do anything here. And I have seen firsthand what how much suppression there is in the outside of this huge bubble. um there's people who would kill for my opportunity to put up a camera and post online and maybe get some people to hear me. There are some people who would kill for this. And who am I to just be like, I'm scared? Who am I to say, um, I'm tired, or I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to open my book and study. I can't do that. There's This is an honor to be here. It's an honor to have this privilege and this opportunity. I was given it for a reason. And I just feel like I'm wasting every breath that I'm not working on helping myself in the world. If I'm doing something for fear of being judged, um, or if I'm in a spiral of thoughts that are causing me to um, think negatively about the world or about the rest of God's creation, I have learned to just stop myself in my tracks and count my blessings, count every single one of them, and be in this moment right now, right now. This moment is magic. This moment is the threshold. And it always is. Anytime you bring yourself back to now, you are in the place of co-creation. um I have a lot of ideas of um I have a lot of ideas on God, um what God is, and religion, and what religion is. And uh I think it's really important that we talk about how we resemble God, what characteristics we have that God does. And I know that I might lose some people here, but um just hold your horses. If you get triggered, that means just like it's room for growth. Okay, maybe not say that, but I have a lot of thoughts on God, and I think the biggest conclusion that I've reached when it comes to um, an all knowing being uh, is not that this being is separate from us, but it's the fullness, the wholeness of all of our beings um, combined. So there's no you and God separate. There's you and everything else in the universe, and then that's God. And so God becoming you for a little bit and then putting these constraints like the body and thoughts, and you have to see things, you have to hear things, you have to taste and touch things to experience doesn't isn't just like this floaty thing like you're in your imagination, but it's physical, it's real. So God enters these nodes, which are us and trees and flowers and every being thing, um, just to learn more about itself, just to um, resolve itself, and kind of magnify tension and see it play out over sequence, which is what time is. Because whenever you leave this physical body, time doesn't work the way it does here. So this life is just a way for us to really, really zoom in on the resolution of these um, um, distortions, if that makes sense. So the world runs on code, and this code just like compresses into itself and creates form. And in this form, okay, there's like you can have rocks, but then how can you have this, which is me, which is a flesh bag, okay? I'm not just a pretty girl. I'm skin and blood and bones, and a brain that's firing neurological signals that make me feel happy and sad. And then I feel pretty cold right now, so that means that the molecules that make up my body are moving a little slower than if I was under the hot sun. And the things that create our experience, we don't really think about them, but I am just a bag of flesh that can move. And then one day I'm going to go unconscious and never be conscious again. And the flesh that keeps itself alive is going to decompose and end up in soil where worms, who are also flesh things, who aren't as conscious as me, but are pretty conscious, are going to eat the flesh, and what's going to be left is just the bones, and then nothing. And then we're all going to die. And then more happens, where more technology, and now AI, and now like space exploration and extraterrestrial life, and what's going on with our political systems. And I feel like there's so many elephants in the room, and it's like, hopping on YouTube at this point, and posting my first video, it's just like, where do I even start? That's been like my biggest struggle, is where do I even start? But I feel like this is like, I'm doing pretty good. Um, these are kind of the topics that I'm going to talk about, and yeah, I guess it's been a pretty long video. So I just, yeah, help me out because this is really just my starting off. I want to make this more artistic, more creative. Um, maybe add an intro or some music at some point, but as a first video, I just really wanted to decompress most of the beginning stuff out there and then um see how it does and then maybe make like cooler videos about mind control and trauma and death and God and dreams. Yeah, no, I'm happy and let me know about this mic quality, guys. Um, I have to paint my room and maybe fix my setup. And also, I got this pimple right on my third eye, which is weird. And I'm about to go get my sty checked out. I've had it for like 9 months now. I have some makeup over it, so you can't see it. Which is like, what even is makeup? Can someone explain that to me? Like why do I put colors on my face and then people see me as more attractive? Like, imagine telling my cat to put on makeup so he can be more attractive. Like, does that make sense? Does that make sense to a child? If it doesn't make sense to a child, like, why are we implementing it? Like, children know what's up. We don't know what's up. Like, children know more about what's up than we know about what's up. Like, we need to lock in. Okay. Um, what else? Oh yeah, let me know if there's anything really cool that you liked. And yeah, follow at shahedsfieldnotes on Instagram to keep up with my daily life. I'm way more fun on there. And yeah, like and subscribe. And thank you so much for being here. I love you.